I'm going to talk about day 16 and 17 real quick. I miss you guys, and I hope y'all are doing well. So day 16, you're going to write 5 to 10 sentences about a holiday that you get to create. So think about what you're celebrating, how you're going to get people to celebrate with you. So be creative, have fun. Day 17, you're going to write 5 to 10 sentences about a time you helped someone and how it made you feel afterwards, okay? So this isn't meant to be hard. This is meant to be kind of creative and fun. Think about your spelling, your grammar, your sentence structure as you're writing these paragraphs. So this next packet for my class is a big writing section, kind of. So you're going to have 5 different prompts. You're going to write 5 to 10 sentences about each prompt, and they're not meant to be hard, but make sure you're using good grammar and good sentence structure. I'm here to talk to you about days 18 through 20 of your AMI packet. We're going to continue writing. Day 18, you're going to write a poem about love and tell me what your poem means. So 8 to 10 sentences, 8 to 10 lines, whatever, however you want to do that. And then day 19, how would your best friend describe you? Or maybe the person you're closest with, maybe it's one of your parents or one of your siblings. How would the person you're closest with describe you? 5 to 10 sentences. And then day 20, write about the best vacation you ever took. Some of you probably wrote about this for your personal narrative, and that's okay. Just a quick summary. Have fun with these prompts. Remember, 5 to 10 sentences per prompt, good grammar, good sentence structure, spelling, all that good stuff. Y'all stay safe and have fun. See ya.
Howdy, children. How y'all been doing in these scary times? I've been thinking about it myself. I come out here every once in a while just to visit with the dead folk and reminisce about the old times. I was out here one time and someone comes up to me and called me a primary source. The dickens, you say? What? Yep, they called me a primary source right to my face. Then they went on to learn me that it ain't such a bad thing at all. It just means I was there when something big happened. I witnessed it, I experienced it, I seen it with my own 2 eyes, and I wrote about it. Like when my baby sister would look up at me with her big blue eyes, as big and blue as the sky. When she smiled, her face would shine like a new silver dollar. I can remember that because I wrote about it right before she died of that terrible cursed illness we called the Spanish flu. I wrote about them times because I don't want nobody to never forget about it. It all started 100 years ago, 1918 to be exact. We was just entering the big war, World War I. Camp Pike, some people call it Camp Robinson today, down in North Little Rock, was one of the biggest training grounds in the country for men to learn how to be soldiers. Well, folks around here travel up to Camp Pike to go on a pretty weekend to go visit their boys or maybe a sweetheart, but the flu is already on the loose from Fort Riley, Kansas. And them little nasty germ critters would jump on folks and we brung them back home with us. The influenza. We just called it the flu for short. Arkansas got hit pretty hard because so many soldiers come to Fort Pike for training. And from Camp Pike, soldiers carried them flu bugs around the world because we were fighting in a world war. Our boys brung them to Germany, France, England, Italy. The whole world was eat up with them flu bugs. Because we was all trying to be strong and win a war, no one wanted to talk about how bad it was hitting our soldiers. So the only country to really talk about it was Spain, because they stayed neutral and they didn't care who knew about how sick they were getting. So everyone was saying, did you hear about how many are dying in Spain from the flu? And then pretty soon we just started calling it the Spanish flu. And so it was. Our little Chloe May was hit by one of them flu bugs. This cemetery is full of gravestones with the dates 1918 through 1920. Children, old folks, it don't matter. It got so bad our schools had to close. I hear tell some of you youngins got out of school early too. Well, we did too. Our schools were closed from October to December in 1919. And they closed movie theaters and didn't allow no dancing or gathering in swarms, just like today. I remember by the time the Spanish flu ended, 675,000 Americans had died. In Arkansas alone, 7,000 people died. While as many as 50 million people around the world died. That's 25% of the world's population. Now that's something worth writing home about. So y'all write about these times. Write about what's going on and how you have to do things differently. Because in a while, things will be getting back to normal and you'll forget about it. But don't you never forget about it. You learn from this. Become one of them, what they call me, a primary source. Write down your thoughts. Keep a daily diary or a journal of things you've done, family activities. Record the number of cases of the flu, and you just watch. The numbers will start growing smaller, and with the Lord's mercy, you'll live to tell your youngins about this too. Y'all stay safe now. You hear?
So this is your math for day 16. Today you're going to be converting fractions to decimals and decimals to fractions. Your assignment has some examples on it already, but I'm going to provide you with a couple more examples to maybe help you out a little bit further. So there's a couple things you have to remember when writing fractions as a decimal. Remember, we've got to divide the numerator, which is the top of the fraction, by the denominator, which is the bottom of the fraction. Okay, so the top of the fraction by the bottom of the fraction. Now, when we've got a whole number, the whole number does not matter until whenever we're dividing, okay? The whole number just matters for the answer. So you should only be using your fraction to divide, okay? So you're going to divide your numerator by your denominator. So your numerator is what goes inside. Your denominator is what goes outside, okay? Can 3 go into 2? No, it cannot. So we add a 0, add a decimal, and then add a 0 there. How many times can 3 go into 20? It can go into it 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. Then you've got to subtract. You get 2. Add another 0, bring it down. 3 goes into 20. 6 times 18. And do you see that it's going to keep repeating? All these numbers are the same. So that means this is going to keep repeating. So that means it's just repeating. So this answer is 8.6 repeating is the answer. Okay. Then we move over here. First thing you should see is that it has a negative. So that's going to be the very first thing that I put is a negative with my answer. There's no whole number, so my whole number is 0. And then I go and I start dividing. 1 goes on the inside, 4 goes on the outside. 4 can't go into 1, so add zeros. 4 goes into 10 twice. Multiply, you get 8. Divide, bring down a 0. 4 goes into 25 times, so this is negative 2.5. Negative 0.25. Okay, so that's when you've got fractions and you're trying to go to decimals. Now, decimals to fractions. You've got to know which place value your biggest number's in, okay? Again, your whole numbers do not matter whenever you're trying to figure out a fraction. Your whole number, it just helps you get a mixed number, okay? This is the tenths, this is the hundredths place. So you're going to say 35 over 100 because it's in the hundredths place. But you have to simplify. What goes into both of these that are the same? So you can divide it by 5. So I'm going to bring down my negative 5 still. 35 divided by 5 gives me 7. 100 divided by 5 gives me 20. Now, 7 and 20 don't have anything in common, so that would be your answer. Okay? Now over here, when you're dealing with repeated decimals, it's different from terminated decimals. Repeating decimals, you put this number, 88, over. Since it's in the hundredths place, I'm going to put it over 99. 100 minus 1. Okay, so it's 99. Then you see, do they have anything in common? Which actually they have an 11 in common. So divide 11 out. You're going to get 8 over 9. Do those have anything in common? No. So that would be your answer. Hey, 7th grade, this is Ms. Hamilton. We're going to look at how to do day 17's math work. You're going to be given a couple questions. You're going to have some multiple choice to choose from about evaluating expressions and equivalent expressions. So your answers or your questions are going to be on the left side of the paper, where the answers are on the right side of the paper. Okay, so here's a couple examples on how to do that. So it's going to ask you some questions about exponents. So if it says 2 to the 4th power, that really means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, so whatever this number is, you're timesing itself this many times. So then you go through and you evaluate this. This is not your answer. You have to say, what is 2 times 2, which is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. Then ask yourself, what is 4 times 4? 16. So your answer would be 16. Okay, this method right here is evaluating. Then you've got a question or a couple questions about order of operations. So remember, we use PEMDAS, so please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Remember parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, but whichever one comes first. So if division comes before multiplication, you do division first. Then addition, subtraction, same thing. If subtraction comes before addition, you do subtraction first, vice versa. So you're going to have a problem that kind of looks like this. So parentheses, these are brackets, which are same as parentheses. So we're going to go inside the bracket. Well, inside the bracket, there's parentheses. So we're going to look inside the parentheses. Inside the parentheses, there's an exponent. So we're doing this one first. This comes first. So this 6 times 6 is 36. So then I'm going to write everything down exactly the way it was, because only thing I did was that one. Okay, now still parentheses, brackets, parentheses. 36 plus 3 is 39. Now I'm going to bring everything down again. And I'm keeping going. Okay, bracket. Now, when you've got a number in parentheses, that means multiplication. So I'm really saying, what is 2 times 39? Okay, so 9, you can use a calculator if need to be, or you can do this on the side of your paper. So 2 times 39 is 78. And then I'm bringing everything else down. Now, do you see I lost the brackets? Because I don't need them anymore. I multiplied, so they're gone. Now, do you see I've still got a set of parentheses, so I can multiply here. Or I can go ahead and do this exponent. They're separated by subtraction, so it doesn't matter which order you do this one in. Okay, so I'm going to say 3 times 78, and I'm going to get 234. Bring this down. Now, 234, I'm going to bring it down, and you got to say, what is 3 times 3 times 3? So this is the same as saying 9 times 3, which is 27. So this is 27. Then I'm going to subtract. When you subtract, you get 207, which would be your answer. Okay, so remember, order of operations when you've got a problem like this. Okay, now you do have a couple questions about exponents with fractions and exponents with decimals. It's the same process as up here. So this is telling me that I need to multiply 2 by itself 3 times. So this is really saying my top is going to be 2 times 2 times 2, and my bottom is going to be 5 times 5 times 5. Okay, so 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 5 times 5 is 25, 25 times 5 is 125. So there would be your answer. Okay, same thing here. This is telling me that I'm saying 0.5 times 0.5 times 0.5. Okay, so this would equal 0.25. times 0.5. And then this would equal 0.125. And then there's your answer. Hopefully this helps. If not, remember, you can email me some questions, and I'm more than happy to help you. Hey, 7th grade, this is Ms. Hamilton. I'm here to show you a few things about day 18's assignment. Day 18 is kind of similar to day 17. You're evaluating expressions and equivalent expressions. So here's a few examples on how to combine like terms. So remember, like terms mean they have to have the exact same variable. And you just see how many A's do I have total. So I've got 3 A's. So 3A would be your answer there. Then you look at this next one. This has a B, no variable. This has a B. So that means these two are like terms. So you've got 12 B's plus 6B. So that's a total of 18 B's. Then this minus 7 has nothing paired with it. So you tack it on at the end. This one doesn't have a B, so that means they're not like terms. So that would be your simplified version. Then you have a problem that looks like this with parentheses. Parentheses means that you distribute, which means you multiply. So 2 times 6C would be 12C. 2 times 7C would be 14C. Then you ask yourself, do I have any like terms after I distribute? Well, in this case, both of these have C's, which brings you a total of 26C. So that would be your answer. Over here, this has a D squared, a D, and then no variable. The D squared and the D are not like terms. They have to have the same exponent. So this has a squared, and this has a 1, imaginary 1 with it. Okay? So that means that this expression has no like terms. So that's your answer. You can't simplify it, so you just put no like terms. There's no like terms with it. Then the next part of this assignment is going to be writing math problem using words. So you're going to be given a math problem, and you're going to have to answer it by inserting the words that go with it. So for addition, you might see the word sum, or add, or more than. Now, for subtraction, you might see the word minus, difference, less than. For multiplication, you might see the word times, product. For division, you might see the word divide, quotient, you might see the word ratio. Okay. Another one for subtraction is decreased by. And of course, increased by would be for addition as well. Okay, so hopefully this helps you. Remember, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. This is day 19 for math. It's the same equivalent expressions and evaluating expressions. It's level 3 of this set. So remember, your questions are on the left, answers are on the right. We're going to go over kind of combining like terms, distributing, some more examples to kind of help you with that, okay? So this first one is evaluating when you're given a variable. So it says when x is 6, it wants you to evaluate these following expressions. So that means you plug 6 in for where x is at. So this first problem, I'm going to say 10 times 6 squared minus 20. So you still have to remember your order of operations. So exponents in parentheses come first. So 6 squared is 36. Then you multiply. 10 times 36 is 360 minus 20. So then you say, what is 360 minus 20? Which is 340. So that expression simplifies down to 340 when x is 6. So we keep going. So I'm going to plug in 6 here. So I'm going to say 2 times 6 divided by 3 and then minus a 4. So first step is to multiply. 2 times 6 is 12. 12 divided by 3 minus 4. My next step would be division. So 12 divided by 3 is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. So my answer there is 0. So when x is 6 for this expression, the answer would be 0. So then this next one, I'm going to plug 6 in for x. So 216 divided by 6. When you divide that, you're going to get 36 as your answer. Okay, so that goes there. So then we do the same thing for the next one. I'm going to say 1,296 divided by 6. And then I'm going to subtract 150 after that. So whenever I divide this, you're going to get 216 minus 150. You're going to get a total of 66. So the 6, the answer would be 66. Okay, so hopefully that helps on that part. Now this next part, always remember when you see parentheses, first step is to distribute every time when you see parentheses. So 4 times 3a is 12a. 4 times 2 is a plus 8, and I'm going to bring down this minus 4a. Okay, so parentheses are gone. Your next step would say combine like terms. So when we combine like terms, we're looking for ones that have the same variable. So we've got 12a minus 4a. 12a minus 4a is 8a. I'm going to bring down this plus 8. So then you just verify yourself. Does this line have any like terms in them? Well, no, it doesn't, because this has an a, this one doesn't. So this is your final answer. That is the simplified version of that expression. Okay, so now this next one. We need to simplify first. There's no parentheses, so we don't have to distribute. So we're just going to combine some like terms. So I see 1x, but neither one of these have x's. So that actually means that these two are like terms. And make sure you keep that minus with the 9. So 45 minus 9 is 36. 36 minus 4x. So now, you can't simplify it or combine like terms. So we're going to do this word that's called factor. Okay? We've done this before. Factoring means you find what they have in common. So what does 36 and 4 have in common? Well, they both can be divided by 4. So I'm going to kind of go backwards. I'm going to go to where it looks like this. So I'm going to divide both of these by 4. 36 divided by 4 I just went blank, is 9. And then minus 4 divided by 4 is a 1x. So this is factoring. So then this is the simplified form. So that is your answer. Hopefully this helps. Hey guys, this is day 20 for math. So you're going to be doing an error analysis problem. Someone has solved some equations, but they've solved them wrong. So you're going to try to figure out what is their mistake and then help them find the correct solution. So instead of me showing you some problems that are wrong, I'm going to show you how to solve the problems correctly. Just kind of refresh our memory a little bit. So kind of thinking back what we've been doing, combining like terms, distributing, we're still going to use these for solving equations. It's just that we're going to go a little further to get the variable by itself at the end. So first off, we're going to combine some like terms. So 7x minus 5x gives me 2x. Plus 7 equals 19. Okay, so once you have got it all simplified, where an x, there's only one x in the problem, we start solving for that x by doing the inverse operation, which is the opposites of what's happening. So remember, minus the 7 first on both sides, that's gone. You get 2x equals 12. So to get rid of this 2x, I've got to divide by 2 on both sides. So my answer would be x equals 6. Okay? So whenever you're trying to correct these problems, make sure you show your work so that it'll help you find their error. So you might work it out first, then find their error. It might help you. This one, we're going to distribute first. Remember, when there's parentheses, we always distribute. 4 times 3x gives me 12x. 4 times a minus 2 is going to give me a minus 8 equals 16. So the same part up here, but this is a minus. So plus 8 on both sides. So 12x equals 24. Divide both sides by 12. X equals 2. So that would be your answer. Hopefully this helps you find the person's error on their paper. If not, feel free to email me.
7th and 8th graders, it has been so long since I've seen you, I have turned gray with worry. I can't go to the beauty shop. I can't do anything with my hair, so now I'm gray. I always thought you guys would be the cause of this, but no, it's that coronavirus. Days 16 and 17. Do what's assigned in the AMI packet. You got this. Any questions? Call me. Mama D out.